Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Monday, December the 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect sunny skies with a high of 63. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, LSU Executive Athletic Director Verge Osbury will be here at 7:30. Our latest weekend winners at 8 a.m. And Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger stops by at 8:30. Follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. You can watch live at the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Interact inside the Bayou 4 chat. And while you're there, get over to the Off the Bench and the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels and hit the subscribe button. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome in. OTB, T-Bob. I'm sure you're saying T-Bob, Musso, and Danny hanging out with us, but Danny's actually not here this morning. Musso is, because of course he is. He will be here 24/7. He's never allowed to leave. In fact, you catch him on AFR, hosting AFR this afternoon. Did a great job last week with it as well. We do have Paul O'Neill up here early in the morning, another man who is no stranger to living in the Guarantee Studios. You two might as well just maybe throw up like a cotton here, maybe get some like decorations up, set the mood a little bit. But it's a pleasure to have you both with us on this morning. This is my last morning for a little bit. Vacate time for your boy here in about T-minus 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 55 seconds. But who's counting? So we're going to have a great show today. I wanted to come in and do this Monday show because, well, obviously I wanted to talk about the last weekend of LSU football. And we have so much to discuss. What a win by the Tigers, again proving the age-old adage. I don't know if it is an age-old adage, but it's something that has always stood out to me since I started doing this job, which is happiness. It's not determined by the relation or by the results themselves. It's where do those results land in relation to your expectations. And about 12 days ago, 13 days ago, I'm not good at math, whenever it was, like last Thursday, the Thursday, going into the Florida game when all seemed lost, Eric Gilbert opting out, everybody's leaving the program, the recruiting class. Actually, let's put back to Tuesday before sign day. Recruiting class is going to fall apart. It's all over, man. And that's when everything turned a bit. You go into Florida, these young guys find a way to get a top 10 win on the road, get a little confidence. You parlay that into a great top 5 signing class on Wednesday, kind of stabilizing and proving that the message still is resonating with young guns. And then you come out and you avoid the first losing season since 1999 with the gutsy performance that featured people doing things that have quite literally never been done before. And in the end, you avoid the nightmare. Like I said, you stabilize and you give people, not only do you stabilize, you get a little juice now going into the offseason. You give people hope for the future, because we'll talk about it. When you see the young players all over the field for LSU right now and what they're doing, when you watch that film and you look at the youth of every single person who is contributing, it begins to boggle the mind a bit, especially when you look at the talent coming in. So I never thought that I would get to the point where 5-5 felt as satisfying as it does. But here you are anyway, because of the twists and turns of this wild 2020 season, which is now at its end for the LSU football team. We're also going to talk college football playoff. We have New Orleans Saints talk coming up as well. Pat Mahomes, every bit of the monster that we thought he was and that we said he was. There's a reason we talked about being afraid of him. I did an entire segment just laying out his legend last week, is because he is the prodigy, and I hate cheering for a team that is having to play against him. It is absolutely brutal. It feels like playing Michael Vick in Madden 04, where it's just essentially a cheat code. I mean, the arm strength on Mahomes, just all of it. The Saints lose, but hope is not lost. We'll get into that more later as well. We got our T-Bob's game takes coming up in the OT hour. Verge Osbury at 7:30, Ross Dellinger at 8:30, and Brody Miller mixed in there as well. So come enjoy these final 3 hours before we take a I don't know, a week and a half almost off from each other. Let's talk some football here on Off the Bench. Let's get a headlines.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. They're your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Barbecue Guys, helping America host better barbecues since 1998.
All right, we're going to start with the game that we were just referencing. LSU finishing the 2020 season 5-5 after beating Ole Miss 53-48. It was a muddy, rain-soaked Tiger Stadium, but that didn't stop Kayshon Boutte from raising his level of play beyond anything that anybody had ever done in the SEC before him. That's right. Kayshon Boutte not only catches 3 touchdowns, but goes for 308 receiving yards. And look, if you hear me bouncing back and forth between Boutte and Boutte today, it's because I've got conflicting sources. The pronunciation guide does say Boutte, so it's probably what I'll find my way back to. So Boutte ends with 308 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, an SEC record as far as the yardage is concerned. Freshman quarterback Max Johnson finishes an up-and-down day, 27-51, 435, and 3 scores. And although the Tiger defense struggled in a lot of areas, they made enough plays to win. 6 turnovers forced by the LSU defense, including 5 interceptions and the eventual game-sealing fumble. So a ton of good to get to from that LSU football game. In New Orleans, Saints news on the opposite side of the docket. The Saints have now fallen to 10-4 and lost 2 in a row after their 9-game winning streak, as they lose 32-29 to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was Breeze's first game back in a while. Did not go well. 15-34, 234 through the air, 3 touchdowns and a score. Saints finished just 1 of 11 on third down. And I mentioned that Pat Mahomes is super scary. This is why. You feel like your defense actually played really well. You feel like your defense contained Mahomes, didn't let him run wild. You feel like they did enough to win until you look up and it's still 32 points, like it was nothing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Saints are currently the 2 seed in the NFC. They host the Vikings on Friday at 2:30 p.m., a game that looks much tougher than it did at one point. But either way, look, the 1 seed's out the window. That's fine. None of that is wholly unexpected. Not when Drew Brees went down. We kind of knew that was going to be the case. How it went down with the Eagles loss is a little bit more disappointing, but you got to flush it, and now you got to try to get healthy. Of course, one of the main areas why the offense struggled yesterday was no Mike Thomas. No receivers in general. I mean, you know what's an undervalued absence? Deontay Harris. He was starting to really make plays. Remember, he caught the big touchdowns at the end of a couple of those first half drives earlier in the year. So you go from Deontay Harris to Tommy Lee Lewis, who has been nearly as good. It's just, no Marquez Callaway out of nowhere suddenly. Drew Brees is not at the point in his career anymore where he's just going to be able to make up for these sort of personnel absences or just overcome. Not against a team like the Chiefs, right? Against some other teams in the NFL, yes, but not against the best team in the NFL. And so the Saints' number 1 goal right now has to be to get healthy and try to get ready for these playoffs. Speaking of playoff, oh man, I got a pin on my sweater. The 2020 college football playoff field is set, as the top 4 has been revealed, and it's every bit as beholden to the big names as you would have imagined. As number 1, Bama gets in, along with number 4, Notre Dame. They'll square off in the Rose Bowl, while number 2, Clemson, will take on number 3, Ohio State, in the Sugar Bowl. What it means that A&M left on the outside looking in. I know I should be. Look, I all the conversation about how bad the playoff system is or how it needs to be expanded, I kind of hold those truths to be self-evident at this point, right? That is all proven. That said, I'm very happy that Texas A&M did not get into the playoff, because like the NCAA Final Four, the playoff is now carries with it a level of accomplishment regardless of what happens in the game, right? Just a playoff appearance is something now that a school can kind of tout and be very proud of. Sorry, Texas A&M. Better luck next year. Let's hope that this wasn't your best year and that it just got wasted in this crazy year where you kind of got screwed over. That would be super disappointing if that was the case. If I was like a fan, I'd be like really upset. I don't know how I'd really deal with that long term, but Good luck. Y'all went 8-1, and yet you may be more upset than the 5-5 Tiger fans today. Life is very funny. In LSU basketball news, the LSU basketball game scheduled for Tuesday against VCU has been canceled. And in other basketball news, flop, 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 flop. That's right. The Pellies here on the verge of reopening their season. Tuesday night, they will. Well, no, it's not in Toronto. They're going to play Toronto, but I think it's in Florida. I can't remember where Toronto's playing this year. The point is they are playing the Raptors on Wednesday night and opening up the regular season before they get ready for that Christmas Day bout with the Miami Heat. So don't look now, boys. Have you seen the Pelicans' preseason numbers? They're pretty insane.
Don't
They're like
do this.
Dude,
Don't do
they're
it.
like literally
It's-
top 5 in every single
It's
stat.
preseason.
Yeah, dude. But they're
Don't do
good.
this.
But hey, what have you done for me lately?
But
We're gonna hear that a lot today.
It's preseason.
The Pelicans have kicked ass in the preseason. It's a little juice going into game number 1. Hopefully, it'll be much more satisfying than last year's Pelicans debut. Zion looks really good, y'all. So get ready for Wednesday. Look, if you want to get involved today, we may even open up the phone lines in hour 3. We will see. You dirty, dirty degenerates. But we're going to be chilling, man. Holidays are in the air. Like I said, vacation is now just 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 22 seconds away. And I'm really looking forward to having some fun this morning. So stick around. Look, if you want to like and share the YouTube video, that helps a ton. If you're listening in your car, just go get a coffee, enjoy yourself, and let's talk some LSU when we get back here on Off the Bench. 104.5, 104.3, 94.7 ESPN.
OTB headlines are presented daily by Barbecue Guys. Remember, the most popular grill on the market is Blaze Grills. Blaze Grills is headquartered in Baton Rouge. Shop on the web at barbecueguys.com. Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Go to LandwaAgency.com today, LandwaAgency.com for what, T-Bob? For your insurance needs, okay? You need a bundle, your home and auto. You're a small business owner looking for protection. You need flood insurance. It doesn't matter. Landwa does it all. And there's a couple things that I really love about Landwa. The first part is that they will customize a policy for your specific needs. Recognize that my needs are not your needs, and Muso's. Paul, you get the point, right? So they're gonna customize policies for your needs. They're gonna actively try to save you money without you having to push them, without you having to lift a finger, right? During a challenging 2020 year, which everybody went through, right? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get a call from Landwas one day. They managed to save me a few $100. I mean, if you don't get that from your insurance agent, why don't you at least have the conversation with the boys and girls over there at Landwa? It's LANOIX agency.com. Go to LandwaAgency.com and see what they can do for you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up! Roof's up!
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy,
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso's in the big chair. Terrio rides shotgun. Phil Steele, the tailgate segment. It's all on Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back, OTB. T-Bob, Musso, Paulie hanging out with you this morning. Thank you to everyone who's chilling in the YouTube chat. Hit the like button, make the algorithmic gods happy with us. Ultra Raider asking where Skona, Todd Jones saying suspended. Ultra Raider says, yikes, he's not suspended. He's on vacation. A lot of people are going to be taking vacation over the next few days. We will still have local shows, just with a bunch of different people hosting, right? Like Musso killing it on AFR. So make sure you check out Matthew this afternoon. He does an excellent job. Also, Todd Jones, I know you were in the fan cave on Saturday, and what a legendary fan cave it was. Shout out to everybody who hung out with us Saturday during that game. It was, the last couple of weeks, really, will be games that I'll never quite forget. And I know that sounds so weird, and it's even weird to me, but it's just how the story of this season has kind of naturally been written. Where, as we said, it felt like things were at its darkest. It felt like the program was on the verge of breaking, not just short term, but long term. And look, you're always going to get people inside the program. If you're going to talk to them today, I guarantee you they will hit you with like that, we were never really sweating it, right? I mean, I knew they're going to be like, we knew we were fine. And there's probably some truth to that. Like, absolutely. On this side of the mic, on this side of the fanhood equation, right, is just us as fans. We tend to be hyperbolic. We can kind of let our emotions run away with us at times. That said, I think anybody who would tell you inside the program that things are just always copacetic the entire time, I don't think that's entirely true either. I think these two wins meant a ton to them, especially when combined with that signing class. And I know it meant a ton to most people listening and everybody on this side of the equation. Like Tony Jr. saying in the chat, the foundation was set versus Ole Miss. I think there's some truth there, and we'll get to that. And so in the end, when things were darkest, what did they do? They gutted it out. And what a gutsy performance it was by this LSU team. I mean, when you look at the names, I think this was a theme during this is a theme during postgame with Hanny. And he's so right. It's like they should almost retake the team picture at this point for who was left by season's end, because there was a astronomical amount of attrition on this team. Like from the time last season ended until this season ended, you are looking at a completely different team. You're looking at a team that's probably almost about 30 roster spots lighter in terms of how many players it had available on Saturday. And so through it all, LSU epitomized an age-old cliche. An age-old cliche that most of us rolled our eyes at one time or another this season, myself included, right? You know what that is? That's next man up. It's something you always hear. You always hear next man up. Yet it rarely inspires confidence. I mean, generally when I hear next man up, I respond with a cynical, oh, there's a reason he's the next man. Well, this game, really these last couple of games, have been optimism and naivete fighting back against the cynicism that surrounds us. These last couple of games have reminded you that you don't know everything. I don't know everything, right? It's also reminded me these young kids, they don't know any better. And no matter how likely the outcome may seem, we never know who will step up and raise their level of play beyond any realistic expectation. And look, on Saturday, I think there were many people, many players who fit this metric. I mean, just look at the running backs. You're talking about next man up. No John Emery, no TDP, no Curry by game's end. Okay, that's fine. You got Josh Williams and Trey Bradford carrying the load and like making plays, making actual plays out there. But in terms of stepping up above any level of realistic expectation, in the end, there is one who stands alone. There is one who put the team on his back, bearing the burden of 2 decades worth of winning records. Kayshon Boutte transcended to a higher plane on Saturday. Literally. Using that word literally. Doing things no SEC player has ever done before. 14 catches, 308 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And it's really funny, man. So I spent about 3 or 4 hours, rewatched 4 hours watching that game last night. And after the first, Kayshon Boutte's first catch is for 9 yards. It actually ended up getting negated by a penalty. It got brought back. But after that first catch, you hear the announcer say, they think this is the next great receiver in Baton Rouge. Oh, if only he knew how prophetic those words would end up being by night's end. I mean, Ole Miss could account for a lot, right? Ole Miss could actually account for them committing 6 turnovers. Like, they managed to make up for that and still be in a position to win. What they could not account for was this 18-year-old doing something that nobody in the conference had ever done in history, putting the team on his back. And the wildest part about it, y'all, it wasn't like it was just some like big, like traditional deep balls, right? Just speed, just beat him deep, just run past him. No, Max Johnson doesn't actually throw a very good deep ball. The wildest part, it was a ton of wet work, you know? Knives out, close quarters, over the middle of the field, slicing and dicing, yak, attack. Kayshon Boutte was astounding. But it wasn't just Boutte. All throughout the field, like we said, you had these naive, confident freshmen and sophomores flying downhill. It's like they're skiers, right? Flying downhill over their skis, but they're staying on their feet. They're dodging trees, and they're making it happen against all the odds. I mean, here, just a sampling of some of the names, right? Coy Moore, Trey Bradford, Taylor, Ojulari, Palmer, Ward, Roy, Jenkins, the list goes on. And like we said, these young guys, they just don't know any better. And what impresses me, some of the toughness in the face of adversity that you've seen in terms of the ebbs and flows, the up and downs of these last couple of games. There have been so many times where I thought this LSU team was going to crumble. I thought this LSU team was going to crack. And earlier in the season, I believed that they would have. But as we said, this is a different team than what it once was, and it has grown in many surprising ways. And one of the most surprising is that these young guys never lose that hope. When LSU was leading 40-34, and then you look up what feels like 5 minutes later, and it's 48-40 Ole Miss in the fourth quarter, that felt bad. That felt like that game was over. And yeah, these young guys, again, shut it down, said no more. They come up with the offense comes up with the scores needed. The defense comes up with a huge 3-and-out and a turnover. The special team sets up good field position. Just a total, complete team win. So shout out to this entire team. And look, we still have our game film thoughts coming up, and we got plenty more to discuss from this game as today's show goes on. But that, to me, is the story, and what stood out to me more than anything is, like we said on Saturday, LSU, the next generation, starting to really assert itself here at the end of the year. Kind of like how Coy's Diesel asserts themselves in the diesel game. That's right. You want to put NOS on your diesel vehicle. They call that the Butte Special. They don't really, because you can't use college kids' names in advertising, so this is not serious. Not that special, at least. But the NOS in the diesel vehicle is serious. So if you want to set an SEC record for most badass diesel vehicle, go to coysdiesel.com. Remember, they also have 24/7 emergency roadside assistance. And it's not just NOS, right? I mean, it's tires, wheels, brakes, any upgrades that you want. You want to put exhaust on there, new gauges, pods, just some service work. You need a shop by part, year, make, model. They got it all if it's diesel. Coy's Diesel's got it, coysdiesel.com. How about this? So this was shocking to me when I got in here this morning. Look, and there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen with the coaching staff. And let's be clear, changes need to be made, right? Okay, let's just go this way with this, actually. One of the interesting parts about a lot of this, we're talking about how your happiness level as a fan base is mainly decided by did the team exceed or fall short of your expectations. And here at the end, they definitely exceeded expectations. And so it's really easy to fall into the trap of, okay, well, I mean, dude, you finished strong, things improved. Yeah, the defense wasn't very good, but look, I mean, they forced these turnovers. They were in Crowell's face all night. Like, they did enough to win the game. The defense got better as the year went on, and it's easy to feel so good about the improvement there that you're like, you gotta roll. We're gonna hold this staff through because look how they finished. It's gonna get stronger in the next year. And all situations are different. So I'm not saying that there's not cases where that may actually be the case, but I do not believe this case to be one of them. I think you still need to make a change on defensive coordinator. In terms of other staff changes, offensively is much more interesting because it's a pretty masterful game plan on Saturday. I mean, when you look at how they adjusted to freshman quarterbacks and freshman players all over the field and some of the success they had, well, the offensive conversation, I think, is more nuanced. Despite the improvement, the defensive conversation, I think, had already been written by this game. And it was even written a bit by this game where, yes, you made great plays. And I don't want to take away from the players at all here. We're going to celebrate some of these players like Jaquelin Roy, who for his second week in a row had a massive game. Like Neil Farrell Jr., who laid it all out in line. That D-line had no rotation. They were exhausted by the end of the game. And Farrell comes up with a huge sack on 3rd and 12 after running around for about 30 yards. To force the punt that would set up LSU for the game-winning score. So I don't want to take away from these players. But even on a day where you had 6 turnovers, you still gave up like 1 million yards and almost lost the game. And to know the defense is not good enough. You have the talent to be good enough, but it's clear that new leadership is needed. So this positive inning does not mean that changes don't need to be made. You still have to enter a very intense and very honest period of self-evaluation. It's just that maybe with some of the less decided cases, some of that evaluation changed. And if nothing else, even when you make these changes, now every single thing throughout this entire offseason is tinged with a bit of juice, with a bit more momentum than you had before these last couple of weeks. So great turnaround. And we got a lot more to talk about as well throughout today's show. So this was but the tip of the iceberg. When we get back, talk to Verge Osbury from the LSU Athletic Administration. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Colada and T-Bob.
DonaldSonGlassEmbody.com, DonaldSonGlassEmbody.com. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas from your friends over there at DG&B. If you get in an accident over the holiday season, that sucks. I hope you do not. But how about this? The insurance company cannot tell you where to go. The police cannot tell you who gets a tow. The answer to both is DG&B. Why? Because, first off, the body shop, collision repair is second to none. It's incredible. They're the best in the state. I'll put that on anything. More so, though, that towing's pretty damn convenient. They're going to pick you up at the accident site, fix your vehicle, and then drop it back off to your home. And the towing is all free. And they'll work with the insurance company to get that body right as well. So what are you waiting for? Downsell Glass and Body. It's not just if you get in an accident, though, guys. You need oil, tires, wheels, brakes, anything. You need an inspection sticker even. They are a literal one-stop car shop. Extend the life of your car. Who wants to pay car notes? No one. Go to DownsellGlassandBody.com today.
Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boat.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with the win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back. Off the Bench. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Festive in the air. T-Bob Musso, Paul hanging out this morning. Thank you to everybody hanging out in the chat. Off-season debates have already started. I'm seeing Brennan and Johnson conversations, coaching conversations, fire everyone. there will be attrition. There will be movement on the staff. I'm just interested to see what it will end up being. All right, let's go right now to the phone line with Verge Osbury, LSU Assistant Athletic Director. Verge, what's going on, man? How you feeling on this Monday of Christmas week?
D-Bob, feeling great. Another great Monday to wake up to be a Tiger and got to win. And now we have to move forward and look forward to 2021.
Yeah, so here at the end, you could almost do like a season in review. What are your kind of general thoughts on how this 2020 year went?
You know, T-Bob, let's start back from the beginning when we talked earlier, early in the year. You know, we were so fortunate, first of all, to have a football season. And the SEC, we did a great job. Commissioner Sankey and all the other guys at the SEC office with the ADs and the conference of making sure that, you know, we have a football season. We knew they could have some points in time where we had some games that were canceled and postponed and things like that. But we got the season going, and we got the SEC championship past Saturday, and now going to college football playoffs. So, you know, we got a season in, which we wanted to do. We got our 10 games in. We finished 500. There's 2 or 3 games we think we could have won there. But overall, with all the attrition on the team and players leaving and players opting out, you know, the last 2 games we finished up strong. You beat the number 6 team in the country.
Yeah, and you exceed expectations, most importantly, in both games. And speaking of that, look, I know that Kayshon Boutte is a guy that we talked about a lot. Even before the season started, I know you were talking about how he'll be the next great receiver in Baton Rouge. Well, his time came way earlier than anybody would have expected. I don't know if you realize this, Verge, but he actually ends the season as the leading receiver for LSU with the tear that he has been on these last 3 games, even passes up Terrace Marshall in terms of yardage on the year. How do you explain what you witnessed out of the 18-year-old?
You know, that's the guy I picked at the beginning of the year. If you remember, I told you he's not only from New Iberia, my hometown, but he's a good football player. He not only did that, but he broke Josh Reed's record, SEC record, 308 yards, which is, I mean, I never thought nobody would do that in this time. But very good football player, very level-headed football player, mature for his age. And he just does things that good shows a good football player. But
did y'all notice a change in him when Terrace Marshall went down and he knew that he suddenly had to fill the massive void, not just left by Marshall, but even by extension left by Jamar Chase?
You know, we saw it in preseason camp when all those guys were there, that he was going to be one of the next best receivers on this team. You know, and don't forget Corey Moore also.
Yep.
You know, those 2 guys are 2 freshmen that we recruited, and they were like those 2 receivers former receivers that we had in front of them. So we knew from the beginning in camp that, you know, one day these would be the guys. Now, did it come up quicker than we thought? Yes, it did, because those guys opted out and left was on the team. But we always knew that Kayshon Boutte and Corey Moore, those guys would be special football players for us.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about in terms, and this is where Boutte to me is so fascinating, is that he is kind of representative of the growth of this team, this young team as a whole. I mean, just look at the names of people who touched the ball for LSU on Saturday: Coy Moore, Trey Bradford, Chris Curry, Kayshon Boutte, Cole Taylor, Trey Palmer, Jeray Jenkins, Josh Williams. These are all freshmen and sophomores. I guess, how did these young players manage to get it together so quickly here at the end of the season and grow and find ways to win these last couple of games?
We have to give credit to the coaching staff and everybody who worked in that building, just pulling everybody together. Like I said, before the Florida game, Tommy Moffitt had an inspiring speech to the players about, you know, the family. And T-Bob, you know, you've been in that locker room, and you know when things get tough and adversity hit, we come together as a family. You got to play for yourself and your family and for the institution. And you don't let the outside chatter and outside noise bother you. And I think that's what this team did with the staff. They just got together in a room and said, hey, look, we have to play. We have to play the game. Go out there and have fun. Don't worry about the mistakes you make. You make a mistake, make it full time. Kayshon could have had more yards than that. He dropped 2 passes that was just right in his hand. But overall, though, you know, they're young kids. Let them play. You know, Max going to make some great plays. You know, make some plays that's not so great. You know, young guys do that, especially when they're starting in the SEC. But overall, they did well.
And then what about that defense, Verge? Obviously, being a defensive mind yourself, that's where you like to pick your brain on that side of the ball a lot. And definitely some highlights. I mean, the turnovers obviously speak for themselves. coming up with a huge 3-and-out at the end of the game when you had to have it. But still a bit of an up and down day defensively in what was overall a very down year defensively. What's your kind of view on that side of the ball entering the offseason?
We got to improve on that side of the ball. And like I said, the first thing to do is improving up front the D-line, improving up front the linebackers. And then, I think the cornerbacks, have some good young cornerbacks. Rick's did a great job. I think the most important position we have to fill this offseason is the safeties. Safety come up, support, angles, things of that nature, staying the last man back in the defense and make the play to help the cornerbacks a lot. So the safety position is one of the biggest areas of concern that we have, and recruited a lot of safeties. Recruited 3 or 4 safeties this year in the recruiting class. So look for one of those young men to come in and play a lot of football this year for us. They're highly rated safeties in the country, and we've played freshman safeties before. And the freshman safety is not as hard as playing a defensive line position or a linebacker position.
No.
You're the safety, you're the last man in defense, and you have to make some calls and some checks with the older guys back there can help them with that.
How do y'all approach Verge? We're talking to Verge Osbury, Executive Deputy Athletic Director, here on Off the Bench. How does maybe it's called self-scouting, something more like self-evaluation. What is the self-evaluation process for LSU at season's end? Like how does the coaching evaluation work when you're kind of just looking at where you want to improve or not at year's end?
The first thing to do is coach is going to meet with every coach and every person in that building individually and have a meeting with them and just talk about where they are, where they see the field going, their position going, the recruiting process. Next thing he has to do and the staff has to do is recruit the players. We talked about this here, keeping players here, especially guys who are thinking about coming out, guys opting out, guys who are thinking about transferring, not thinking they get enough playing time. You have to relate to your current team and recruit them, just like you went through the recruiting season with the 20 guys you just signed. Then you have 5 other spots you have to get in the recruiting process. So those are things you have to do inside the house. Then, coaches are going to meet with us as administrators and talk about things where, we see we could be improvement at and where he thinks there need to be improvement at. And from that point on, then we make the decisions on, how we're going to look at the program, what we want to look at going into the 2021 football season, the schedule, things like that. You break it down, T-Bob, from A to Z, all throughout the process of everything that's going on in the department right now. And, with the football program, you say, okay, you know what, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to look, this is where we need to get back to. And, we give our recommendations, and, Coach he sits there and says, okay, I'll look at this here, I'll look at that there. But, it's his program. He's the CEO of the program. We just help manage it and get him to the place where, we be successful and LSU football is successful.
There you go. Verge Osbury. The offseason begins today. LSU Executive Deputy Athletic Director. Verge, thank you much, man, for not just today, but for the entire season, waking up with us every single Monday morning.
T-Bob, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you as well, man. And to you, Musso, and to you, Paulie. And to you, all of our wonderful listeners and watchers in the chat right now. All right, when we get back here on OTB, we will close out our number 1, so stick around.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com, allstartoyota of batonrouge.com. You want a new 2021 Tundra with $3,000 customer cash? Toyotathon's going on, they got it. How about a new 2020 Camry? 0% APR financing for 72 months. Toyotathon's going on, they got it. I actually, myself, am leasing the 2020 Camry right now. And it's fantastic. I mean, I'm a big man. And I fit in there uber comfortably, okay? So do not shy away. If you're a bigger guy, you're like, I don't know if it's for me, T-Bob. It's great. It's super comfortable. It's a smooth ride. It's the best. Well, it may not be the best. Because I actually think I love the Toyota Sienna the best. So if you've been flirting with maybe getting a minivan, now is the time. Let All-Star Toyota be your guide throughout this purchasing process. Guide you exactly what you're looking for. And look, if you need a rent for the holidays for a weekend trip, anything like that, they can accommodate that as well. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Ochsner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for a Football Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Musso's in the big chair. Terrio rides shotgun. Phil Steele, the tailgate segment. It's all on Friday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome back. Off the bench. The chat is already having the starting quarterback argument. We got the Brennan stands versus the Johnson stands. There's the don't forget about Finley stands, and really everybody has everybody has validity.
Nussmeier stands,
and they're not in the chat right now, but they definitely are out there. We'll
wait till spring for that.
Yeah, look, I think and I've watched this LSU team very closely. I've watched this quarterback play very closely. I think that Miles Brennan is still clearly better than the two freshmen by, I don't know if I want to use the word significant or not, but it's maybe close to a significant margin, even if you don't think it's significant. I think that Johnson and Finley's play is actually way more, I think it's closer to each other than a lot of people want to give it credit for. We'll talk about Max Johnson a lot more a bit later in the show. I will say this. The greatest thing for Johnson, ironically, is not actually his physical skill set or the play. It's kind of the intangibles. that he displayed over the last couple of weeks. And then obviously just the 2 wins that he got were so big that he deserves extra credit for getting those wins. And if you look at the scenarios, it wasn't like the wins are gifted to him. He had to make plays in both games to make it happen. So Max Johnson definitely got a ton of juice. And the confidence that he will gain from this will only increase those intangibles. And then the stuff that he needs to work on, like he doesn't throw the prettiest ball. It was really wet the other day too. But like that's all stuff that you can fix. So really, I can't pretend no, he's going to be a starter. I mean, the competition is wide open. And even going into this year, I know the coaches have loved Johnson last season during the offseason. Then Finley emerges during camp and practice, and Finley bursts on the scene. He does really well. Johnson comes in. He looks like he validates the kind of coach's preseason hype. And so now, like we said, all LSU fans need to be worried about is no matter who wins that job, no matter who wins the job, it's going to be good. Like you will have a good quarterback at LSU. And I don't exactly know what the offensive staff will look like, but let's say LSU doesn't make a lot of the offensive changes that people are kind of stamping their feet for. I still would feel good about it because of the adjustments that we saw out of the offensive staff these last couple of games, finally killing some of their sacred cows. Switching from let's hurry up and run zone on 3rd and short to let's hurry up and run QB sneaks, and then watching the benefits therein. I mean, this last game especially was really well called by that offensive staff. So no matter who wins the job, the bottom line is that you're going to have a good quarterback. There's a lot of good options in that room. And so we'll continue to have that as the offseason goes on. We'll also continue to have the re-recruitment conversation. I'm going to talk here for a minute, but Musos and Paul, if you want to get involved, absolutely you too. It's up to you whether or not you do. Who do you think is most important to this team to potentially bring back? And look, Jacoby Stevens already announced that he is leaving, which how fitting is it that Jacoby Stevens, one of the few upperclassmen left on this team, a key member of both the Fiesta Bowl and national championship teams, how fitting is it that he would end his career in Tiger Stadium recovering that fumble? I love that. Somebody who stuck around, stayed to the entirety of this 2020 season, even though he did not have to, was a leader the entire year. He was rewarded for it in the end. But he's not going to be back. But outside of him, I don't know that we've gotten official 100% answers from anybody else yet. Defensively, I would love for those defensive ends to stick around, both Andre Anthony and Ali Gay. Ali Gay could stand now, and let's see where I wonder what the draft grade that he got back was already, but Ali Gay could stand to make a lot of money if he returns and balls out next year because he kind of burst on the scene early, but then I thought a little bit of that was fool's gold. And I thought he took a step back for a while, but he kept grinding, kept improving. His run defense got better and better as the year went on, and like his improvement culminated in him forcing that game-winning fumble that Jacoby Stevens ends up recovering. So Ali Gay back could be really big. Andre Anthony as well, man. This was his best year by far, not even close. I don't know what Andre Anthony translates to on the NFL level. I don't know what his NFL grade would be either. I'm guessing like an undrafted free agent sort of setup. So it's just up to him, man. 5 years. He's been here 5 years. 5 years is a long time to play football. The motivation to go for a 6th year with the grind that it entails is very tough to sign up for. But if you can convince him, there's a lot of value to be had there. Do you have a name defensively, Musso, that you would love to see re-recruited?
Not really defensively out of the guys that you just mentioned, other than the guys that you just mentioned. I mean, I think there's.
I guess like a Neil Farrell you could, or a Glenn Logan. I mean, I'll take any interior D lineman as well at this point. I just think that the Anthony and Gay might be more important in that equation. And I'm leaving off Jabril Cox because I'm just assuming that he's not going to.
Todd McShay, when he was on the call for the Florida game, mentioned that he has Jabril Cox rated as the 34th overall best player in the draft.
Yeah, and you got to go.
Early second. I mean, that's early. It's the second pick of the second round.
Yeah, you got to go if that's the case, dude. Jacques Cormier, Neil Farrell's already said he's opting out on Twitter. All right, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Or not opting out. Gone. Leaving.
The interior defensive line at LSU, not a huge concern for me at the moment.
No.
The numbers
they'll be
coming
good.
in, yeah, I mean, they should be pretty solid there.
Well, and Jaquelin Roy had another beast game, dude. So we'll get to
Guillory,
that.
and then you add Mason Smith and that Langston, the other commit they just got as well. So
Yeah, they'll be fine on that. I think you started to see that. Offensively, I just think it's all about the offensive line because quite literally, I don't know if there are any upperclassmen anywhere else on the field offensively.
Maybe Racy is the only guy I can think of.
There you go. That's
try
the
to
one.
entice to come back is be Racy McMath.
Yeah. I didn't thought about that. The opportunity for him would be huge, but it's definitely. I mean, it's Ed Ingram, it's Cam Wire, it's Dare Rosenthal. Hell, if Deculus wants to roll again, absolutely, let's roll again. Some of you may be like, Deculus, what? But yes, you're undervaluing what you've gotten out of that position. There's some of you said for consistency. Doesn't have whatever. I could talk about that all day. But yeah, it just on the offense. But hey, Coach O, he knows what to do. What did he do? He took him out for fried shrimp po' boys the other day. As soon as I heard that story, I couldn't kick the craving. I had to get a fried shrimp po' boy, and when I did, it was one of the most satisfying feelings I've ever had. And I can only imagine that's how the big boys felt when they went out to eat with the head man and he re-recruited them with said po' boys. All right. Hour number 1 of the books. Hour 2 coming up. Stick around here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
During this holiday season, maybe you're hanging some lights in your house, climbing up ladders. If you were to fall off and get hurt, you want to go to Ochsner. That's right. Whether you're in New Orleans, North Shore, Baton Rouge, it doesn't matter. Ochsner is the place to go to get healthy again, right? So if it is like an injury like that, like an orthopedic sort of injury, first off, Ochsner's facilities are going to blow your mind. If you're here in the Grove of Baton Rouge, wait till you see the MRI machine. I mean, it looks like something out of Tony Stark's lab on a movie set. It's wild how advanced it is, and that's all because it's all about maximizing your experience, maximizing your potential. So you get the MRI, figure out exactly what's going on. They have the latest, greatest non-surgical options they can explore. If you do have to go through surgery, there's no stone left unturned. We're talking antimicrobial paint in the hallways, copper-infused surfaces to fight against infection, anything and everything, making sure that you get back healthy as soon as possible. Go to Ochsner.org today, Ochsner.org.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Monday, December the 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 63. In case you missed hour one of the show, catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Coming up, hour two, give you our weekend winners next. Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger stops by to talk college football at 8:30. You can follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Watch live at the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. And make sure you get subscribed to the Off the Bench and the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, what's up? Oh, no. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hour number 2 of Off the Bench here. Paulie, Musso, T-Bob hanging out with you. Probably hear my voice. Pretty chill morning. Basking in the beating Ole Miss 53-48 in a wild fashion glow. Hope you had a great time if you were hanging out with us in the fan cave on Saturday. We still haven't talked about the Saints this morning. We will get to the Saints. We'll get to the Saints coming up next segment. The Saints conversation is disappointing, but in no way surprising. Which is why I think just narratively the LSU stuff has a little more juice for me today. Just creative thinking wise is, again, it was much more surprising. I never expected it. I thought you were staring 3-7 in the face. I thought 4-6 was the bare minimum, because I thought I gave you a 0% chance of beating Florida. I never bailed on the Ole Miss thing, though. Y'all know that. I mean, I kept saying that I still think it's not like some guarantee that Ole Miss is going to win. But still, 3-7 certainly felt super realistic, and here you sit at 5-5. So that's why I think it's got a little more juice. The Saints didn't actually lose a ton with the loss yesterday, given that they had already essentially lost the 1 seed with the Eagles loss. So, like, it kind of is what it is with the Saints. Just finish, take care of business, win the division, get healthy, the main thing. I mean, something we didn't even talk about last week that completely just deflated my whole untapped potential angle was Mike Thomas going to IR. And it happened after we got off the air on Friday. But, remember the whole angle of the Saints, and we were, out of all these contenders, nobody has somebody waiting in the wings like Drew Brees. And we've only seen Mike Thomas and Drew Brees for 10 quarters ago. Now it's all about to change, only it didn't change. It got worse. Now you have no Mike Thomas once again. Before we get into our weekend winners, Tony Roy, what's up, man? Before we get into our weekend winners, there's some interesting conversation about Deculus last time. Let's be clear. First off, somebody in the chat, look up how many games Austin Deculus has started at this point. Because I don't care who you are. If you start this amount of games with a college football player, you're a damn good football player. You're a good college football player. I don't know if you're gonna ever do anything in the NFL. I'm not saying that you are a dominant player, but you're a damn good one. When you look at Deculus' resume, and some people are like, "Well, do you really want Deculus back?" Yes, you do. You literally won a national championship with him at right tackle. I'm not saying he's ever going to be dominant, but you're not in a position where you don't want everybody back on this line. You need as much talent back as you can get. You would welcome him back with open arms. And now what I don't agree with is Taylor Castine, I don't know exactly how to say it. It says, Deculus has to come back. He isn't nearly good enough to get drafted higher in the 6th round. That is true, but I don't know if that's why he has to come back. I think that's actually why he may not, right? I think Austin Deculus is maximizing his physical potential. I don't know that he can raise his ceiling too much higher from an NFL standpoint than what it already is. So that means one of two things. He either says, you're an idiot, and I think I can, and so I'm just going to go to the NFL and prove you wrong. Or maybe it means, yeah, maybe you're right, and I love college football, and I want to keep adding to this ridiculous amount of starts, and so I'm going to come back. It would be huge if you get him back. At some point, dude, you're just exhausted. He's been there for so long, maybe he's just exhausted. So plenty more LSU and Saints talk coming throughout the show. Thank you everybody sharing the video. Keep sharing it. All right, let's get into what we do every Monday at 8 o'clock, and let's give you our weekend winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do.
What's that?
Win the whole thing.
All right, my first weekend winner is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that we said transcended to a higher plane, the teen dream. Of course, I'm talking about Kayshon Boutte. You know I love that teen Boutte. SEC record, 308 yards through the air, 3 scores, 14 catches. And how about this? You know, Musso, I'm a fan of the law of transitive sports property.
Yes.
Devontae Smith is now the leading Heisman candidate, correct?
He has the best odds now, yes.
When you look at Kayshon Boutte's last 3 games, they were better than Devontae Smith's last 3 games.
Uh-oh.
And he's only 18 years old, a couple of years younger than Devontae Smith. So that's a little curve there as well for Kayshon Boutte. So let it be known, I think it's inarguable that Kayshon Boutte is the actual Heisman favorite at this point, or should be by the law of transitive sports property.
No, those are the rules. They just are. I'm sorry. You might not like them, but they're the rules. And I didn't make them.
Also, real talk, which is insane, he ended up as LSU's leading wide receiver. Like you're like, wait, what? What about Terrace Marshall? Terrace Marshall played really well this year. Terrace Marshall had multiple 100-yard games. Yeah, with this 3-yard tear that Kayshon Boutte went on, where in 3 games he caught for over 500 yards, went over the 100 yards at least in each and every game. Kayshon Boutte ends the season as your leading wide receiver with 735 yards to Terrace Marshall's 731. The next great one is already in Baton Rouge. Just saw him on Saturday. That was a coronation. Can't wait to see him next year. And look, and we'll get into the other guys. I mean, Coy Moore, there's a lot more to celebrate, but first weekend winner, how could you get away from the teen dream, Kayshon Boutte?
You mentioned the next great one. My first weekend winner goes out to Tiger and his son, Charlie Woods. Charlie Woods taking the golf world by storm over the weekend, playing alongside his pops at the PNC Championship. They finished 7th place, only 5 shots off the eventual winners. They shot a combined 20 under par on the weekend. Charlie Woods at 11 years old is knocking 5 woods within, 4 feet for eagle.
That was a crazy
walking
shot.
in putts, fist pumping, doing everything. He looks like a mini Tiger Woods, and he's only 11 years old. And it was pretty damn incredible to watch. So shout out to Tiger and Charlie Woods.
He's got he's got the mannerisms of his dad, which is the freakiest part.
It's like looking in a mirror.
There's the video where I think they're on the driving range and they both hit a shot or whatever, but then they pull the exact same club spin into like arm hang, kind of standing off on one hip. It was like a Dr. Evil mini-me like type of situation where it looked like a mini Tiger. I don't know that I have any great point here besides I just find it interesting. There is, and I've learned this in my chess journey. There's a guy out there who, I wish I could remember his name, but he set out to prove that, like, look, innate talent is overrated. It's all about just hours. It's all about just practice. He was like, I'm going to make my kids into chess grandmasters. And he did. His daughters I mean, he raised them to be chess grandmasters. It's all they did from the time they were a little kid, like chess. And he raised them to be world champions. So it actually did end up working out. I wonder, this is almost a situation like that a bit, right? Where here you have Charlie, and again, this is, actually, of course it doesn't take away. It just proves that it's his hard work mainly getting it done. But here you have a kid that's raised in this lifestyle, will have all the opportunity afforded that you could possibly imagine. And look, I still think that obviously, I don't know how to quantify, talent plays a huge role. So when you probably have the base talent of a Charlie Woods, and then you combine it with that setting where he can practice as much as he would want to, right? And nothing will ever stop him from getting any golf resource that he needs. The potential for that person to be truly great is pretty astounding. So shout out to Tiger and Charlie Woods. Paulie, do you want to get involved in the weekend winners? Up to you. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You got anybody? Okay, yeah, what you got?
So my weekend winner is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, they win.
They did lose yesterday, but because the Jets won, they now have a 71% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick.
I mean, dude, what are the Jets doing?
How have you not fired Adam Gase already now? There's no point anymore.
Now you can fire him.
There's no point anymore.
Now you blew it. You lost the interim game, or you like it doesn't. You don't have to be scared of interim coach getting juice, because I always said keep Adam Gase because it would keep you it would keep you defeated. Yeah, it would keep you unwinning. I underestimated just how bad Adam Gase can be. So bad that he can't even be bad enough.
He couldn't even tank right.
Like, so bad that he does the one thing that you desperately needed to avoid, which is winning that game. And now the Jaguars are going to end up with Trevor Lawrence instead of the New York Jets, dude. Unfriggin' real. Way to go, Jets. Y'all are big weekend losers. My next weekend winner, Ohio State. I mean, you got the benefit of the doubt. You played 6 games, and you didn't even look that good against Northwestern, and you still get into the college football playoff. Also, I think anybody who wants an expanded college football playoff is probably a big weekend winner.
You have to be.
This seems like a we broke the system sort of situation. I mean, people are just done with it. I'm excited to see what Ross Dellinger has to say coming up at 8:30. It sucks for everybody else, but yeah, good. If you're an Ohio State fan, you are a weekend winner. Why play the games? I don't know. It doesn't
really matter. Now you get to watch Clemson and Ohio State in the playoff for what, the 3rd or 4th time?
Not
definitely the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah,
I think it's the 3rd time.
Not a weekend winner would be the Big Ten, and they're just constant moving of the goalposts.
Dude, they suck.
No season. We're gonna have a season. You got to play 6 games again. You don't have to play 6 games to get in. You got to sit out 21 days. You got COVID. You don't got to sit out 21 days. It's
the disorganization that they showed within their conference this year is just, and it should be an embarrassment on all levels to everybody involved.
But the playoff committee said no problem. We're cool. You get in. Your next winner, Moose.
Des Bryant.
Yes.
Caught his first touchdown yesterday since 2017.
Throw the X up.
It was against the aforementioned Jacksonville Jaguars there in their defeat. But just
it was a good play, though.
Yeah, it was a great play, and just a great moment for Des Bryant, who, I mean, remember, was it last week? He was pulled off the field because of a positive COVID test that actually wasn't a positive COVID test, and now he has to go through that on top of everything else that he's already been through, and he gets his first touchdown since 2017. Just a shout out to Des Bryant, man. That will always be a what could have been for the New Orleans Saints.
Dude.
Yeah,
I know, man. I know. It could have been really exciting. The relationship formed between the Saints, the locker room, and Des Bryant that short time was really strong, which made me think that Des was going to thrive here. But I'm glad to see him thrive. I mean, if you can't appreciate somebody going 3 years between NFL touchdowns and the amount of mental, self-doubt and everything else that you have to overcome, then you are a Grinch, sir. Even Ebenezer Scruso is over here.
Hey.
He's over here celebrating Des. My next weekend winner, people who dislike A&M. Because I'm your weekend winner. You can victory lap on A&M so hard here. These sort of years that they just had where everything lines up and you have your best team and you somehow go 8-1 in this all SEC schedule, probably would have gone 9-1. These years do not come often. Just ask LSU. They just had their own perfect storm sort of year. And yet, despite it all, A&M, you just had to time up that year with a global pandemic. Tisk. And you had to time it up with a 6-0 Ohio State getting chosen over you. Oh, God.
I will be interested to see if anybody comes back for A&M, takes advantage of that extra year, and if they can build a pretty solid roster next year.
It's going to, I mean, look, you're right. Maybe they stay hungry.
Yeah,
maybe they stay hungry. It could go the opposite way where they're like, screw this.
So I'm anxious to see before I victory lap too hard on Texas A&M.
Oh, I'm not. I'm going to victory lap on all the A&M fans because arguably you deserve to be in the playoff. This year would have been your playoff appearance. Now, you would have gotten your ass kicked by Alabama like you did the first time, which is probably one of the main reasons why they didn't put you in over Notre Dame. But, man, it has to get so hurt but to fall short. No playoff appearance yet for the Texas A&M Aggies. And finally, my last weekend winner, fans of fire extinguishers.
Oh.
I thought it was pretty cool when Ole Miss did that on the sideline.
I was just real confused.
If you're a fan of karma, if you're a fan of maybe like being like, you shouldn't celebrate before it's over, well then you also got proven right because it didn't amount to much in the end. But in terms of just like risky business, F-it sort of moves, just busting out 2 whole fire extinguishers and spraying them on your sideline is pretty awesome. And it almost worked. It got you back to 48-40, but you needed 1/3 and final fire extinguisher and you just didn't have it.
Where did they get? Did they just brought those?
They
from
had
Oxford?
to bribe. Yeah, you can't just waste
Did they just take a fire extinguisher off the wall in the tunnel, like leading out to Tiger Stadium?
I cannot imagine. I have to think that they brought
who
it
on the Ole
themselves.
Miss equipment staff is responsible for packing the fire
I
extinguishers?
don't know. And multiple ones at that.
Multiple ones. They just have one of those. A whole crate is just filled with 3 fire extinguishers on the Ole Miss sideline.
Booty Fett says those fire extinguishers are dumb AF, and you know it. I don't know.
I was just surprised. I was like, "Is that? Yeah, okay. No,
it is dumb.
It is a fire
but
extinguisher.
Whatever, dude.
Hey man, if it
in
works.
terms of trying to get motivation for the kids, whatever works. Dude. It was like it was so. You definitely never seen anything like it.
No, absolutely not.
Which I always appreciate.
Was it as cool as that high school team trying to bring a chainsaw onto the field? No.
Don't bring that out here, coach.
It's the same purpose. It's the same premise there.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. It's like the high school team that tried to hammer through the wall, but then the wall was too sturdily built. They ended up having to run around it, and it went terrible. But hey, at least they shot for the moon, okay? Kind of like Ole Miss did, even though they missed, and they may have landed amongst the stars, but it was the lost stars anyway. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk a little Saints, where we got Ross Dellinger coming up at 8:30 here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Shout out to everyone who took advantage of Accutemps' great deals that they've been doing all season long, the halftime of every LSU football game. Text 31996, the word halftime. If you did, you got that $49 Tiger tune-up. So huge thank you to Accutemps for hopping on the off-the-bench train and providing the customers with some excellent HVAC services throughout the entire year. But it doesn't end with football season. They're still there. And I mentioned customer service. Accutemps has over 1,200 reviews on Google with a 4.9 rating. Trust me when I tell you, once you work with Accutemps for the first time, I had them come out and do one of the tune-ups on my home, which are only $99 normally. You could have the deal was $49, but it's still only $99. But once I had to come out and deal with my home, I've never had such a painless experience in terms of people have to show up at a window of time or anything like that. Don't take my word for it. Go to AccutempsBR.com and try them out for yourself.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one, but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with a win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Okay, dude. In case anybody was wondering, or in case anybody was defending the Bo Pelini hire, the improvement, or, we forced a lot of turnovers, we did this or that, you got to keep that guy. Chat showed me a pretty crazy stat. LSU gave up 7.26 yards per play on the year. 7.26 yards per snap on the year. So every time an opponent snapped the ball, on average, they were getting over 7 yards. That is absurd. But I don't know that everybody has, and yards per play is an interesting metric, right? Because it does kind of take in everything defensively and give you kind of a down-by-down efficiency rate of your defense. I don't know that people have great context for just how bad that is. And so as soon as I saw that number, because somebody's like, well, last year you averaged like 5 yards a play. So as soon as I saw that number, I wanted to see where it ranked in the country because I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad, but I got to be honest. And by the way, to give you an idea, 5 yards per play would be really good. That would put you in the top 25 right now. But to give you an idea of how bad it is, that's 7.26 yards per play. That ranks LSU not in the top 50, not in the top 75, not in the top 100. LSU barely cracks the top 125. There's only 127 teams on the list, people. LSU is 125th in the country, allowing 7.26 yards per play. The only teams in the country that were worse were the winless Vanderbilt Commodores, who were 7.28. So, like, essentially the same thing.
So, for anybody wanting Derek Mason as the next LSU DC,
yes,
chew on
also
that.
No.
He gets nowhere near this program. Nowhere near.
And the only other worst team who had a much smaller sample size in only 6 games were the Akron Zips, who gave up 7.56 yards per play. In fact, if you look, not even Ole Miss gave up. Oh, no, Ole Miss did. No, they didn't. Not even Ole Miss gave up 7 yards per play. There were only 4 teams in the entire country that gave up over 7 yards of play, and it's UNLV, LSU, Vanderbilt, Akron. The fact that you went 5-5 is a miracle. The offensive staff may actually deserve a raise. I know people want to make changes there as well, but like now that I've seen this, they may actually deserve a raise because that is horrible. And it's a really good day. Like, we're celebrating a lot of positivity. And I'm not trying to bring things down, but that is so shockingly bad, and that should end any conversation about what should happen on the defensive side of the ball. All right, real quick, I'll do a couple minutes on Saints before we get to Ross Dellinger. Yesterday was disappointing, certainly not unexpected. We knew this already. Like, a lot of people are going to say Breeze is washed or Breeze is this or that, but Breeze was exactly who he's been all season long yesterday. And I keep going back to what Jeff Duncan says, right? Breeze no longer has to carry this team. He just has to lead this team. I'll take it a step further. I don't know if Breeze is capable of fully carrying this team anymore, at least not with the hand that he was dealt yesterday. If you give Drew Brees a fully healthy receiving core, I think there's a good chance that you win that game yesterday. What he cannot do anymore is that kind of like back in the day, just doesn't matter, nameless, faceless, doesn't matter who plays on the O-line, who plays wide receiver. Breeze is going to find the throws, he's going to find a way to win the game anyway, and I guess he almost kind of did, oddly enough, yesterday. But it's just, it's going to be a tough ask, especially when you're going against the best team in the NFL, in the Kansas City Chiefs. And it doesn't help things when you had Breeze and he's out there, man, and he's trying, but he is kind of struggling. He's looking a little rusty, looking a little old. And then you have Pat Mahomes, who just looks unstoppable. I mean, you got after Pat Mahomes' ass. The pass rush was excellent throughout the entirety of the night. You want to talk about the ways to stop an elite quarterback? It's exactly what the Saints did. And yet, in the end, it didn't really matter. At least not that much, because Mahomes just finds ways to make the plays. Watching him run around is so incredibly frustrating. His ability to be running the opposite direction, stand on his back foot, and launch the ball like 80 yards downfield. Again, when I bring up 04 Michael Vick from Madden 04, it's not about, I'm not saying that Mahomes is like that, like a speedy or Vick or anything else. The thing that made Michael Vick a cheat code in that game was that on top of being a running threat, you could be running backwards 30 yards in the backfield, and he still had the arm strength to launch it like 80 yards downfield. It was very unrealistic. What Pat Mahomes does is unrealistic. Like, he is that brought to life. He can be 30 yards in the backfield, falling backwards off his back foot, and still launch it over your safety's head. So, look, all things considered, I know there's no such thing as moral victories right now. Absolutely, with the New Orleans Saints, you're going to have a team where that is not the case, and you have bigger goals than that. But going against that Kansas City Chiefs team, them healthy, them having their weapons, which, by the way, man, hated to see Clyde go down yesterday. Huge bummer. Joe and Clyde the same year. I don't know we don't have an official word on Clyde yet, do we? We'll obviously update you.
Last night they said a hip/leg injury, and Andy Reid said his X-rays were negative.
Man, well, that's hugely disappointing. So at least at the beginning of the game, a full straight in Kansas City for the Saints to make that game as close as they did, given how they fell behind early, given the fact that you had, I mean, who was it? Emmanuel Sanders, and then a bunch of guys who were just upgraded from the practice squad at wide receiver, essentially. Like given all of this, you put on a pretty damn good showing. And I think you did prove that at full strength, you are capable of beating this Kansas City Chiefs team. Like, I think they're better than you, but they're not so much better that it's just insurmountable. I mean, if Alex Anzalone dives on that ball, who ends up knowing what happens? I think that's going to stick with Anzalone for a long, long time. But the point is, not expecting you to lose to the Chiefs. I kind of thought it was going to happen. And now it's all good. Win the division, make the playoffs. I don't really give a damn about where you're seated, right? You're going to have to, if you want to, because Saints have Super Bowl aspirations anyway. So, like, they're going to have to go through anybody they meet up with. The bye is now out the window. So I don't care about where you're seated. Just make the playoffs. Get Mike Thomas healthy. Get Mike Thomas healthy. If you can do that, you're going to have a chance. Because then again, the combination of Thomas and Kamara on the field at the same time presents a deadly combo. It's just one the Saints have not been able to take advantage of this year, unfortunately. So it's all good. It's all good, Saints fans. It's a tough loss, but it's actually not that impactful a loss, in my opinion. Everything is still left to play for, and you got this like a little scouting mission. It's like you did a little recon on the Kansas City Chiefs. And now you just got to hope that you can fight and get there to round 2 in the Super Bowl in Tampa later this year. All right. When we get back, we'll talk to Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated about the college football weekend that was here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com for all of your Toyota needs. You can go check out some of the great Toyota deals going on right now. Toyota-thon's going on. The 2020 runs are here. You're going to buy a sweet Christmas present for your loved one, for yourself. Well, Toyota can make that dream a reality. $3,000 customer cash on new 2021 Tundra. 0% APR finance for 72 months on new 2020 Camry. And look, maybe you're going on a trip this Christmas. You got to rent for the weekend. They can handle it. You don't want to fully commit to the minivan lifestyle. Well, first off, stop being scared. Be open. Because it's incredible. I will have a minivan for the rest of my life after this Toyota Sienna. But if you don't want to fully commit, you just need to rent for the weekend for a family trip, you can do that. Talk to Miss Lisa Sessions in the rental department. She gets you back. Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com today. That's All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Football is back. Tune in tonight as we wrap up a full weekend of NFL coverage. It's Monday Night Football as the Cincinnati Bengals host the Pittsburgh Steelers. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
If I built a van,
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with the win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Oh, John Favreau, I love you. I see you there on GMA. Do we have Ross? I know Ross is traveling, so huge thank you for joining us, Mr. Ross Dellinger. What's up, dude?
Hey, T-Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing well. So a lot of like national college football to talk about, but I just want your reaction to this stat, Ross. So I didn't realize this, but the chat pointed out that the LSU defense this year gave up 7.26 yards per play on the year. I was like, dude, that's really bad, right? But then I dove into CFBstats.com to see just how bad, Ross. That is 125th in the nation. They are one of 4 teams to give up over 7 yards of play, and the only teams that are worse than Vanderbilt and Akron. What's your reaction when you hear that?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. We knew they had struggled all year, and I know I had seen stats that said that they were the worst LSU defense in school history, which I don't know if they finished that way. I guess the numbers need to be compiled maybe to see exactly if they finished as the worst. But, man, that is just it's staggering. You just never expect that from an LSU defense because of the talent. And I know that they were young and all that, but, man, that is staggering. It really is.
So and then what's interesting, and I don't mean to open this up or the negative, because it's actually a really positive time around the program with how everybody feels about that finish. Does that make the finish more impressive to you? Like that despite that record-settingly bad defense and all of these other things, and despite being 3-5, facing down a Florida team with Gilbert opting out and all these other bad storylines, where's your head at now that LSU manages to win 2 in a row, get the big signing clash, and finish 5-5 heading into the offseason?
Well, certainly, I know they can't play in a bowl game, but you hear coaches all the time. It's kind of cliche, but you hear them talk about the way you finish a year being so important to the off season and the preparation for next season. I don't know how true that is, but certainly coaches believe in it. And LSU finishing with back-to-back wins, including, honestly, 2 games that I think most people thought they would lose.
Yeah.
Ole Miss scores so much, you just didn't think LSU could keep up with them, and they did. And then, of course, the game at Florida, which was I was there for, and it was quite an incredible victory. That has to help them, you would think, moving forward. And like you mentioned, they got another win. It sounds like somewhat on signing day as well. So certainly the season didn't start well, certainly, and didn't feel real well until just 3 weeks ago, and now we're kind of in a position where you say, hey, LSU kept up that streak, right, of not having a losing season, breaking 500.
Yeah, and I think stuff like that actually means a lot, just in terms of like investor confidence, making the fan base happy, whatever. So LSU season is over, but the college football season is not. Talking to Ross Dellinger, obviously you all know Sports Illustrated National CFP writer, does an excellent job. Ross, what was your reaction to the selection show on Sunday where Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame get named as the Final Four?
Wasn't surprised. Figured the committee would go that route. You know, it's easy to these selection Sundays in college football have been somewhat anticlimactic, really for years, and part of it is because the committee shows its hand with the rankings every week preceding the selection show. It's so silly. I know they want to build it up for TV and have all these rankings and stuff. I mean, the biggest ranking is a lot of times the first one because you know exactly how the committee feels about teams, and so it was pretty clear going into yesterday what the rankings were going to be based on the previous rankings. You know, I don't know if it was right or wrong. Certainly, there's a lot of discussion, but the system in general, we just need to give a look to it. I think when we created the 14 playoff, immediately you knew we were going to eventually expand because there are 5 Power 5 conference teams or conferences, and when you have 5, you can't have all 5 into the 4, and certainly you probably can't have any group of 5, and it doesn't make sense. And I think you'll see that the pandemic year exposed the system, and especially the New Year's 6 lineup. One group of 5, I think.
Yeah, I was shocked that Coastal didn't find a way in there.
Really, really unfortunate. I mean, beyond the CFP selection, the New Year's 6 pairings were embarrassing. I mean, you're talking about a Coastal team that beat Louisiana, who went up and beat Iowa State by 17 points. It's just it doesn't make sense. And
so what is their explanation for ignoring some of those transitive properties? Because they just threw a lot of that just completely out of the window, just hand waved it away.
Yeah, I understand in a way where they're coming from. You know, that's one win. It's one game, as opposed to maybe 6 games or 8 games against Power 5 competition. I saw Gary Barta on the teleconference say that a group 5 team can get in, but you have to have a schedule resembling BYU's in previous years, which BYU usually plays 4 or 5, maybe even 6 Power 5 teams. Well, a group of 5 team that's in a conference can't play that. They can't play that many games. They have conference games to play. Let's give up 1 or 2 things are going to have to happen. You have to split the group of 5 and the Power 5 and let the group of 5 have its own playoff.
Yeah.
Or you have to expand the playoff field and give them some kind of automatic bid. No team in any level of football, I don't think, starts the year knowing that it's impossible for them to win a national title in their sport, even if they go undefeated, except college football.
Yeah. I would love I mean, I think, look, the playoff committee told you if there's not an official split, it's already essentially split. So I wouldn't mind at all creating 2 different playoffs. I don't know if the motivation's there or the money's there for a group of 5 playoff, but also I would do both. I would expand the Power 5 playoffs and probably split them. Just because I think that, as you're alluding to, right? No sport more so than college football. Do you have a situation where we just kind of feel comfortable saying, well, we know what's going to happen, even though somebody like LSU in that Florida game would completely challenge that notion. Ross, as we sit here on the tail end of this 2020 college football season, one that felt imperiled at times, that still has limped along at times, but you're still here. You got a playoff set. Seasons are wrapping up right around Christmas. What do you think you'll carry forward in the rest of your life from just covering this year?
Oh my gosh, lack of sleep. That's what I'll carry into the new year. It's been incredible. At the same time, in a way, it's been certainly unique. You'll look back on it 20 years, right, and be able to tell somebody, hey, I covered the pandemic. Yeah, I was there. I was there for the shoe. I was there for Nick Saban returning from COVID on the same day that he was in isolation against Georgia. I mean, it's bizarre, all these games that I've covered and all the things that I've covered this year. It has been it's certainly unique, but I'll be happy to kind of get back to a more normal life. The thing is that ain't happening anytime soon. That's the thing. This thing's going to linger on and on. and hopefully by kickoff of next season, we'll be pretty, pretty close to returning to normal. I think I've heard maybe, late summer to expect more of a normalcy, but still in college football, you're going to have lingering financial issues that are going to, in college sports in general, lingering financial issues, and then you throw in the NIL stuff and then the one-time transfer, and the sport's going to be changing a lot.
In the end, Ross, with all the sports that you've seen through this pandemic, do you think college football took the biggest hit from no fans? And I don't mean financially. I just mean in terms of, like, the game itself.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Certainly financially, but yeah, I don't know. If the game, I'm not sure. I think we're going to end up seeing that college basketball might have the biggest effect. Fans, attendance in general, I think always has the biggest effect in college basketball of any other sport that I've ever seen. You're so close, you're inside, it's so loud and stuff. You're so close to the court and all. Like, I always thought that college basketball fans and home court advantage was the biggest advantage of any sport that I've ever covered, at least. And of course we don't have that, So they're certainly in a position, and you're seeing all the upsets, by the way. There,
that's fair.
A lot of upsets, my guys, Duke and Kentucky and all that. So I think that's a big part of it. There
you go. Ross Dellinger, writes for Sports Illustrated. Check out his work. He is the man, and you already know him. So, Ross, thank you so much for another football season, man.
All right, man. See you, Bob.
All right, I'll see you later. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you and Liz as well. All right, let's close out hour number 2. We're so close to vacation, boys. Well, not y'all two. No, y'all two aren't allowed to leave or go on vacation, but I am. So we'll close out hour number 2 when we get back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
That was brought to you by centralplumbing.org. 925-8552, your plumbing experts. You can go check out the showroom if you're a do-it-yourselfer. That's what you're into. They have Central Plumb It Yourself, where they have every any item that you need, right? Any single part that you need, they have there right there at the showroom. You can pick it up. If you're like me, you're not a do-it-yourselfer. If you're like me, sometimes you try to be. You may watch a YouTube video, but everything I've ever tried with plumbing has only made it worse, to the point where one time I just had to straight up replace the toilet. So I learned my lesson. I don't think twice. I have any plumbing issue, I call 925-8552. I go to centralplumbing.org, and I don't lift a finger. My problems get solved. They get solved by people who are licensed, bonded, insured, have a flat rate pricing structure, so there's no surprise fees, great warranty, 30 days on service work, a year on new installations for the peace of mind afterwards. So again, any plumbing issues, you already know. centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Tune in on Friday for a Christmas Day NFL special. We kick off Week 16 when the New Orleans Saints host the Minnesota Vikings. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments.
As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with a win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. A nice little ditty. Maybe just in a good mood. I don't know. I don't know that I'm actually kind of shocked I was in a good mood because I was not in a good mood yesterday. We got Bertie Miller coming up at 9 a.m., by the way. And me and him will record the Hold That podcast later today. No press conference today. If you're wondering, if you're waiting for Ogeron at 12:30, I'm not sure when the next media availability will be. And then we still have T-Bob's game takes. I have all my game film notes from last night that we're going to go over in that third hour. Can anybody help me out with like a roofing segue here? Let's put a roof over this hour. Okay, look, go to GoRoof, okay? GEAUXroof.com, 927-8300. Everybody, GoRoof licensed, bonded, insured. How about this? Free professional estimate. So you call that number, they come out there, they let you know exactly where they stay or where you stand. You don't have to pay anything up front. You make a fully informed decision. 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. That's called peace of mind, my friends. Plus, they're super fun guys. Look at the commercials, okay? And look, they can work with you payment-wise, monthly payments, like whatever you need, GoRoof has your back. GEAUXroof.com, 927-8300. What do you get? We work with roof, beautiful new roof every single time roof's up. Okay. Gerard Guillory, Ensminger needs to go. Y'all said it's Saturday post-game too. I'm going to get younger everywhere. I do think that the LSU staff does need to get younger. With Coach Ensminger, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the offense staff because we'll get into the notes. I think the offense staff did a very good job, but I do think the time for ruthless self-evaluation is here, which is why I have to ruthlessly self-evaluate myself from yesterday and ask myself, what role did I play in causing that New Orleans Saints loss when I made a critical mistake yesterday? So I was attempting to make some jambalaya for the first time in life, and it was intense. It was going well. I was doing things I'd never done before. I made a great chicken stock to start with. I'm then using that chicken stock on the cast iron skillet like a fourth of a cup at a time, like reducing things, simmering, like everything's going badass. I'm at it for 3 hours. It is looking great. one of the key steps to make a homemade spice mixture. You make way more than you needed because we want to just have the spice mixture on deck, if that's what the recipe called, but you only need a tablespoon of it. So we make this homemade spice mixture. This is the final step before we put it in the pot for an hour to chill and cook the rice and everything. So I take a tablespoon of the spice and I put it in a container. And then I go to get some tomato paste and salt and some other spice that I had to add here at the end to put in the container. Only when I added those other ingredients, instead of adding it to the tablespoon of spice, I added them to the rest of it. About 12 times the amount of spice that I actually needed. And then, unthinking, in a momentary lapse of concentration, I dumped all of that into the jambalaya. So after 3 hours of setup and work, there, and by the way, I timed this out to where I literally put it on the pot and sat down, whiskey in hand, feeling so confident with myself as the Saints game was kicking off. And then when I walked back into the kitchen for refill a drink, I saw that single tablespoon of spices sitting there, and the blood drained out of my face. And I blew it, y'all. I blew it. But why do we make mistakes? To pick ourselves back up, okay? And so I'm going to get this jambalaya right, and the Saints are going to get it right for the playoffs. Brody Miller next. OTBOT next.
Off the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Go to SecureShreddingRecycling.com, SecureShreddingAndRecycling.com, your document destruction specialist. Good for business, good for the environment as well, as they save on all sort of trees, oil, just fuel. It's great for everybody involved. And if you're a business owner and you have document destruction needs, if you're working with the national guys, forget about them. Go local. LSU grads. I mean, not only is it going to get better rates, which ultimately maybe that's all you care about, but how about customer service? How about the guys that are going to have a relationship with you? They're going to be there to serve your business needs no matter what they may be. They can destroy on site. They have multiple trucks they can bring out to do so. They have drop-off points throughout our listening area. Baton Rouge, Orange, Alexandria, you need to drop stuff off to be destroyed. You got it. Convenience, right? And then for the biggest jobs, they can bring back to their own facilities. They're the best. SecureShreddingAndRecycling.com. Go to SecureShreddingAndRecycling.com.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, December the 21st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 63. Coming up today on OTBOT, the Athletics' Brody Miller joining the show next. T-Bob's Game Takes, follow that. Follow the show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Watch live at 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Interact inside the Bayou Ford chat. And make sure you get subscribed to the Off the Bench and Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. OTBOT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back. OTBOT, T-Bob, Musso, Paulie hanging out with you. 58 minutes, 39 seconds away from vacation. But who's counting? Also, due to my failed jambalaya experience yesterday and me desperately trying to convince myself that it wasn't horrible. Probably ate too much of it. And I've been avoiding blowing out my pants for this entire show. I really need today to end on multiple levels. Wow. I'm like the human radio host version of this LSU football team. At least at the end. It's overcoming incredibly impressive, some would say insurmountable adversity. And yet, here I stand. And I'm excited to talk to another person that I stand. It's Brody Miller of The Athletic. We host the Hold That podcast together. We're going to be recording later today. Be on the lookout for it. It's going to be a big one. Indiana's Brody Miller. Brody, what's up, dude?
Too much, man. My vacation essentially starts whenever this coaching news is over, so I'm just counting the minutes till that.
Me too. And so let's go there because that's where I was going to go first. So there is a word on the street is there is a staff meeting going on right now, and I am someone who is not a journalist, so I love to fully engage in rumors a lot of times. And a lot of the chat is saying that the message boards are thinking that some important announcements are coming soon out of these staff meetings. What do the actual journalists know or don't know right now?
I mean, yes, there is in fact a staff meeting going on as we speak right now, and yeah, all indications are there are going to be some. I don't want to speculate too much on all the specifics, but there are going to be some widespread, changes in the LSU staff. I don't think that's any surprise to anybody, but yeah, I think you'll see several changes on the defensive staff. At least one or two probably on the offensive staff. Maybe some reshuffling there might be the better word, but yeah, I think. Excuse me, but I think you can expect to see some changes in the LSU staff in 2021 for sure.
So, without getting into specific names, do you think that LSU will have new offensive and defensive coordinators come next season?
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. Without getting into specific names, do you think that LSU will have new offensive and defensive coordinators come next season?
So definitely I expect to have a new defensive coordinator, and what I'm hearing right now, and granted these things are fluid, and I don't think anybody's, out there to fire Steve Ensminger, but I have gathered that I think there will be a new offensive coordinator next year as well. But again, I'm not reporting that as fact right now, but that would be my guess right now.
Yeah, you like how I was like, not to name names, but then obviously I just said two names.
The other offensive coordinator.
Exactly. That's an old journalistic trick for you there, Brody Miller. Hey, how about this, though? How do you judge? Because, look, the defensive stat speaks for itself. Did you hear the yards per play stat today? And we're going to get into the positives from this game. And really, the Hold That Podcast is going to be a ton of celebration of the positives from this game, I'm sure, today. But Chad pointed this out, Brody. LSU gave up 7.26 yards per play this season.
Oh, yeah.
Do you realize? I didn't realize that is 125th in the country. Only Vanderbilt and Akron were worse. So, yeah, no doubt a change needs to be made. And that's about offensively, though, it is a bit more interesting. Like, how do you judge the offensive staff coming out of this last game, given that they've been working with, I mean, it's just freshmen all over the field, freshmen and sophomores. It's not just at the quarterback position. It's literally every position. And yet they, on the offensive side of the ball, managed to finish pretty strong this year.
Absolutely. I mean, you and I think both know that I don't think either of us are necessarily the heavy criticizers of the offensive staff that some are because, yeah, like you said, I mean, first off, they were putting up pretty darn good numbers those first three games when you had your normal offense. You had Miles Brennan, Terrace Marshall, all those guys. Brennan was throwing for nearly 400 yards. That was the offense. Like that can't be understated. Like that was the actual offense.
Yeah,
and
that's a good point.
Miles Brennan goes down, and then they had to sincerely change their entire offense in the span of a week with two true freshmen who obviously have turned out to be pretty good. But I mean, they were very raw 3- and 4-star freshmen who weren't exactly like, hey, they're going to play right away kind of guys. So they had to redo everything. And obviously there have been some issues. Offensive line's been a problem at times. You know, I think you saw limitations of having a true freshman and kind of what they could do at times. And at the end of the day, at least in my personal opinion, it got better each week, which is all you could ever ask for. I mean, I always point to the Alabama game. Maybe I'm naive here, but that first half, that offense moved the ball really well.
Yeah.
And eventually Alabama was just better, and it changed. And then the Florida game, obviously, we know the results there. They had a good offensive game. They had I don't have the number in front of me, but they had a good offensive game. Max Johnson made some big plays in his first start. And then obviously the offense looked top to bottom pretty darn good Saturday against Ole Miss. So I think you see the offensive staff actually getting better in all those things. But still, at the end of the day, with all of that just being said, I mean, we all know that there's always rumors every year about Steve Ensminger maybe retiring or whatever, and we always hear that noise, and every year he comes back because he's a good coach, and Ed Orgeron really likes Steve Ensminger. But, you know, we did see – I'm not going to say Steve Ensminger did a good job this year. I think it would be foolish to say otherwise. But I think we did see at least the drop-off between having that just, like, absurd sharpness of Joe Brady and then having a pretty good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's fair. It's almost – it's like it's a light that looks dimmer than it should just because of how huge the spotlight is from last season.
Exactly.
Brody, let's talk about this team because when I opened today's show, I kind of positioned this whole performance as sort of an optimistic, a naive kind of beating back of cynicism, right? Because through this entire season, you know, we've heard things like next man up, right? And when you hear that, myself included, you roll your eyes and you make some joke like, well, the next man up is the next man for a reason. And you just get very cynical about it all. And that it sucks. And yet here you have this LSU team and these young guys, and it's almost like they don't know any better. And they just kept making plays, man. Like the last 2 weeks, there's so many times when they could have broken, it could have been over, they could have folded, they could have quit. And yet they have found ways to come out with a couple of huge wins here, and I do think it matters a ton in the context. And I guess my question to you is just what's your interpretation of this kind of youth revolution that LSU has displayed over the last couple of weeks?
I mean, yeah, I think first off, I think it's real. I mean, I think you would know this far better than me that I think freshman year for a lot of these guys, they're like has to be a certain point where it just clicks and you're not just a talented football player trying to play football, but there's like a work ethic aspect. There's a just kind of the game needs to slow down aspect, like all these things. And I always point out the fact that Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall are two of the better players in school history. And they weren't exactly stars freshman year. They went through a lot of learning experience, and then it didn't really click for them from everything I was always told until, you know, around bowl practice. And there's plenty of examples of that, right? So I think that these guys were, one, thrust into situations way different than expected. Then you add in that it was a pandemic season, so they had no outlet, and a lot of them are going through a lot of mental health, just troubles right now, and it's tough. Then you have, it's the worst season in at least 2 decades at this school, so that also throws off just probably your general psyche. So it was a weird year, and I say all that to say, credit where it's due, those freshmen and sophomores and some of those guys really did end the season looking like they are the building blocks of a future. I mean, Kayshon Boutte, I use the Ja'Marr Chase parallel pretty consistently. He's doing way more than Chase did to end his freshman year. He's ending the year with record-shattering numbers. Now, he looks like he's going into sophomore year as an all-SEC guy. Ojulari, obviously, we know is one of the better pass rushers. Jaquelin Roy, I mean, you and I talked about this last week, but his last 2 weeks of the season, it's like, oh, that dude is going to be a key defensive tackle for years here. And obviously, we know Eli Ricks. Like, that core of freshman class should be, in all honesty, one of the better classes in a little bit, one of the good ones, as long as you can keep that all together.
Let's just go to the Kayshon Boutte angle since you touched on that. Brody, do you realize that he finished as LSU's leading receiver on the year? He beat Terrace Marshall by 4 yards, 735 to 731. Dude. I mean, like what more? Do you have any way of expounding upon, or like can you flex your verbal acumen to kind of break down what you witnessed out of Boutte these last 3 games?
I mean, I think what we saw Saturday was something different, right? Because even those last 2 weeks when he had great games, right? 8 catches, 111, 5 catches, 108, even the big touchdown against Auburn, it looked like a guy who was just very talented, right? But he still seemed raw. He didn't seem like that, harnessed, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you're like, okay, this guy's going to be a stud next year. But, he needs time. And I think what you saw Saturday was something different, where it was just, and I keep making these Chase parallels because I'm not saying he should be Ja'Marr Chase. That's not fair. But what I always love to talk about with Chase was that Chase had this ability to just take over a game for a quarter at a time, almost like a James Harden, like an ISO scorer just going off on a hot streak in a basketball game where you're like, oh, it's his now. That's what Boutte was doing Saturday night. It was just like Chase, where it was just like, hey, the ball's going to him. The entire offense is now going through him. And the fact that on that offense, that final drive, I mean, he sprained his ankle. He was hurt. He was on the trainer's table, and he just hopped up. So he's hurt. The entire stadium knows the ball is going to him. Like, everyone knows, and he catches the ball for 7.
Wait, he was on the trainer's table before that final 50-yard or before the final touchdown?
Yeah, he rolled his ankle on the drive before. Yeah, so he was hurt, and then he just hopped up, and I think his words were like, "Hey, it's a tough game. I can't quit now." And he goes out and just pulls off one of the wilder, game-winning plays I've seen a little bit. So I think you're seeing a guy that is just so talented, proving that he is, a gamer, and then also that he's kind of starting to harness these things. And the hope now is that he can really, really harness it going into his first full off season and become, not Ja'Marr Chase, but take that kind of leap.
Yeah, complete takeover is absolutely accurate. I mean, now I remember we're kind of laughing. We're watching live the fan cave, and we realized they get that final possession around the 50. He's at 250, and I was very tongue in cheek, like, "Oh, he's going for the 3 bills, like he's gonna make it happen." And then, like, oh wow, he actually did it. And Brody, it wasn't like Boutte's body of work was crazy too. It wasn't like just some deep balls where he just outran people and got it. No, it was wet work. It was like close quarters, like over the middle. Just grinding it out and making it happen. Brody, over the last couple of weeks, talking to Brody Miller of The Athletic, we host the Hold That podcast, and we'll be recording later today. Be on the lookout for that. I think coaching news is coming. Last one here. Do you think this last couple of weeks for LSU, did you see the value of people who wanted to be there or wanted to play? Because to me, like, Cole Taylor is a perfect example. And this is in no way a side against Gilbert, because Gilbert was fantastic all year for you. He's like your second best offensive player for much of the year. But like Cole Taylor is obviously physically overmatched. He's getting pushed around at times. He's not making any like huge plays, but he is doing enough, and he's playing super hard. And it feels like all over that field right now you have guys that are just playing really hard because they're maybe not as like, because if you were a starter on last year's team and then you're on this year's team, that's a hard head place to exist in. All these young cats, like we said, they're naive. They don't know any better, and I feel like their effort's just been astounding.
Yeah, I think Ed Orgeron has pretty much led every press conference, these last 2 weeks with, some variation of, these were the guys who wanted to be here. These were the guys, finding their heart and all these things. And I think there's so many, interesting stories probably to be written on these final few weeks, because we all know how, I don't want to sound dramatic, but I mean, it looked really dire 2 weeks ago. And then, to have, I've heard things about how, and by the way, Jacoby Stevens gave me an incredible answer on Saturday when I asked him about this, but, I had heard things that Jacoby Stevens kind of tuned out for a little bit during the season, and that there was some frustration. He admitted, he's like, I am a bad loser, and I just don't think he handled it well. And then I've heard that he really stepped up these last few weeks and really did take charge and was, deserves some credit for what's happening. And I think you have a lot of guys that, they were playing, but, these freshmen, now they're starters, and that just kind of, it just does flip a different switch, I think. And it's just like, all right, time to go. I have to be the guy. I think that's part of it with Butte. His dad said that to me before. And so I think, you have a mix of that. And I think, we're talking about how sometimes just a flip switches with freshmen in general, and you just have to, it just clicks at some point, what you're doing. But anyway, I keep talking in tangents, but I really do believe there's a lot of issues here, and I don't think these last 2 weeks should just overcloud all the problems with this LSU football program. There's a lot that needs to get fixed. But with all of that said, these last 2 weeks need to be your guiding light, your thing you're clinging to is just proof of what you can be, because that youth, no matter, is really, really good. It is a really, really talented group that kind of can get you competing for SEC titles and all that if you harness it correctly. So, yeah, I think that's a really good sign that these guys are now going into their sophomore year, one, having gone through the worst season anyone can remember, so they're battle tested. They've seen some stuff.
Yes.
And then also they have experience. They are getting better, and now you can go into year two knowing what to work on. That's huge for this program.
That's right. Move over, Captain Kirk. It's Captain Picard's time now. LSU, the next generation, begins today. Brody, you have a great day.
You too, buddy. Later.
Also, Indiana getting left out the New Year's Six is BS. But we'll talk about that more on the pod later. All right, when we get back, T-Bob's Game Takes, 104.5 ESPN.
OTB, OT. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with the win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome in, OTB OT. So somebody said on Twitter, let me find out who it was. Shout out to my guy, Coach Bobby Sibley, saying, listen to OTB, T-Bob's first mistake with the jambalaya was tomato-based jambalaya. Look, I agree. I hate tomato-based jambalaya. And the recipe that I used was specifically said, like the author said the same thing in his introduction, right? So it's a very small amount of paste based on what you're making. That said, I'm not in love with the recipe. I just found it after some random Googling. I searched my cookbooks. I didn't know that I had anything that I loved. So if anybody has a good jambalaya recipe and you want to send it my way for round two when I go back after this thing, I would love it. I would love it. So send me them. All right. Should we do every day? Let's do what we do every time at this week. And let's do a full film recap. These are T-Bob's game takes. During this is very stream of consciousness. This has been basically reading the notes that I take during the game. There may be some things repeated, but the bottom line is that this is going to give you a full, in-depth breakdown of a lot of elements on the field that maybe you haven't discussed or maybe you didn't think about. First off, I got general thoughts, offensive thoughts, defensive thoughts, and then special teams. All right, generally, credit to this young team for maintaining its composure when the game opened up about as bad as it could have. LSU goes 3 and out. Ole Miss goes down the field in 4 plays, throws a touchdown. In fact, the LSU offense really didn't get it going for a few possessions. Felt like it was going to be a long day at that point. And yet, this young team stayed together. They found a way. Proud of this defense. There's a lot of potential in this defense yet. Huge effort night for the defensive line in this LSU Ole Miss game. Really, both lines played very well. We'll get to more of that a bit later. And this win had to feel good for Coach O. You know, he not only really wanted to end the season at 5-5 and avoid that losing season with some momentum, but you know he had to want to beat Lane Kiffin very badly. I mean, look at their history together. He's worked for Lane in the past. He's taken over for Lane in interim spots, which, by the way, Coach O continues to prove this. We said that this staff maybe wasn't ready for the challenges of success, but who is better at dealing with the challenges of terrible adversity than Ed Orgeron in his coaching career? Like, when things get at their worst, that's when he gets at his best. The fire extinguisher was cool, but it doesn't work nearly as well when you lose. Gave him some juice for a minute, though. How wonderfully fitting that the game should end with Jacoby Stevens recovering a fumble in Tiger Stadium, a key member of Fiesta Bowl Natty team, and one of the few old guys left with all the youngins. All right, offensively, start with Max Johnson. Really impressed with Max Johnson's poise. Never seemed to press, get rattled, and the first couple drives didn't go his way. In fact, if you look at the first 4 drives, you had just 3 points, and that was because you literally started in field goal range. But kept plugging away, kept looking for something that worked, and then you finally break through in that second quarter, going on a 9-play, 86-yard drive that finishes with back-to-back QB sneaks for the touchdown, taking advantage of the defensive turnover. And look, with Max Johnson, the balls weren't always pretty on Saturday, especially in the rain, but he did get the job done. In fact, I think the most ironic part of my evaluation of Max is that, like, the arm talent is not the best. He doesn't throw that pretty of a ball. He can be a bit inaccurate. Granted, it was bad conditions, but he can be a bit inaccurate. But those are not his strengths. The nice part is these are skills that you can work on. His greatest traits are the ones that are harder to develop, and that's the intangibles. Okay, his ability to run the offense under pressure is what stands out to me. In the third quarter, the score to make it 24-20. On 3rd and 8, he scrambles for 6 yards, and then you saw LSU do this a couple of times. They engage in some subterfuge. 4th and 2, they huddle up, and it's almost like an acting job. Everybody's looking pretty nonchalant, kind of chilling. They hurry up, they get to line, they get set immediately out of the huddle despite feeling pretty lazy. 4th and 2, Ole Miss defense isn't set. They're still trying to sub. Johnson calmly finds Boutte on the drag. Not only do you get the first down, but you get a touchdown. It was apparent on the drive, his intangibles, that is, on the drive to close out the first half as well. So Ole Miss scores. LSU gets the ball back, 24-21, 3 minutes up. You calmly march down the field, touchdown. And he has the short-term memory, I think, needed to be a really good quarterback. Down 41-40. They're driving down the field in great rhythm, about to score again, and that's when he throws his first ever pick while targeting Kayshon Boutte. I thought that was going to be the end for him. He shook it off, shook back, and goes on and scores the game-winning drive. Offensively, I think the coaches made the short yardage adjustments that everyone had been yelling for. Short yardage, just sneak it. I love the back-to-back sneaks from the half-yard line. I loved how they handled the 4th downs where they scored touchdowns, and not 1, but 2 4th downs. That same thing we were just talking about. It's really well coached and well executed. That weird, sort of lazy muddle huddle into quickly getting set on the line. Both times Ole Miss wasn't ready. Both times resulted in wide open touchdowns to Kayshon Boutte. And regardless of what you think about this season as a whole, this was a masterfully called game. I mean, think about all of the talent that you were missing offensively that you once had, and yet you still put up that yardage, 53 points. The coaches deserve a ton of credit. This offensive staff does. He's going to get overshadowed, because how could you not with the night Boutte had? But Coy Moore had a really good night, both offensively and on special teams. I love the way he runs after the catch. He runs hard downhill. More in his special teams contribution later. If you want to just think about how young LSU's team is, here are the guys that touched the ball offensively for LSU on Saturday. Coy Moore, Trey Bradford, Chris Curry, Kayshon Boutte, Cole Taylor, Trey Palmer, Jeray Jenkins, Josh Williams. What do they all have in common? They're all freshmen or sophomores. Here's some offensive line thoughts. I like Cam Wire at right guard. I'm not wondering if Cam Wire should have been starting over Chasen Hines from the beginning. The O-line didn't necessarily run block as well as I thought they would. They did do enough, however. It wasn't a wholly bad night, but the pass pro was really solid. And lo and behold, throughout the entire year, these freshman quarterbacks go the way of the O-line. For some reason, I'm not sure why Ole Miss stopped bringing pressure, started and getting after Max. They started rushing 3 and playing coverage. Everybody who did that this year against the freshmen failed. I wish Josh Williams would have scored on the drive right after the Todd Harris pick. He had that nice 30-yard run down to the 3, and that set the tone. Josh Williams, man, former walk-on, now on scholarship. He made plays throughout the night. Speaking of guys stepping up and making plays with TDP and John Emery Young, how about Trey Bradford, dude? Big night for Trey Bradford. Big plays late in the game. He has that awesome small back ability where he kind of hides in the wash, and then he pops out of nowhere. He also hits the hole hard when he sees it. He's got that leverage. And then what I like is he's a discerning runner. He knows when it's like, screw it, I got to hit it. And when he can be a little bit more patient and kind of hide out in that wash. Trey Bradford gave me a lot of I don't know. He was one of my favorite parts of this entire game, one of the favorite hidden gems. And there's something else that stood out to me for Trey Bradford, and it's representative of the team. I'm impressed with the confidence that the LSU offense, despite being as young as we just pointed out, that they played with at the end of the game. It seemed like everybody was having fun. It seemed like everybody was very relaxed and confident. You would have never guessed their youth from their body language. Trey Bradford's out there in the rain and the mud, laughing, smiling, with 2 minutes left. With LSU trailing 48-46, you're in the middle of this huge drive, and they were just having fun, man. And these guys really believed in themselves. So great job by the LSU offense. Now let's get to some defensive thoughts. Defensively, it's not the best performance, but they played as hard as I've seen all season long, and they came up with the big plays when you needed them most. Give the defense credit, too, for this. How about this? Not all the people are going to engage with this. The defense held the line early on. The offense was really bad early on, and that game could have spiraled out of control. Offense failed on its first 4 drives. And yes, the defense gave up an easy score to start, but then they followed it with a couple stops, including the pick 6. Credit to the LSU defense. The first busted play that they did give up, though, that was more about Ole Miss just being really good. Matt Corral's fake was on point. He's really good at play action. That was a bit of foreshadowing for the touchdown where they go up 48-40 and they fooled the defense, the cameras, and even the ref, who ended up getting run over and ended up with a bloody head. Beautiful tackle for loss by Jabril Cox. The DVR punt, nothing really there. Let's talk about the defensive line, though, because you're starting to see the beginnings of what could be an excellent D-line. Created havoc all night long. I don't know what happened to Glenn Logan for a lot of this game, because I thought he got hurt when he exited the game, but then he came back in when... Who went down at the very end? Did Neil Farrell go down at the very end? Somebody went down at the very end, but whatever. Logan had a nice problem early on. Nice play early on. But the guys that I really want to highlight are Neil Farrell Jr. and Jaquelin Roy. It felt like they played the entire game, along with Ali Gay and Andre Anthony as well. That D-line looked just dirty and exhausted. They looked like some football player by day's end. Andre Anthony got cheated. He 100% got held in the end zone. That should have been a safety. They did not call it, but what did he do? He followed it up with a sack on 3rd and 14. Number 3 continues to be one of the best breakout stories the entire year. He's only gotten better as the season's gone on. I want to see him return. It would be huge for LSU. B.J. Ojulari was a menace throughout the night. Consistent pressure. His pass rush moves are explosive. He's so young. He's going to be great. And it was his pressure that forced the pick to Jabril Cox right before the half, which led to additional bonus points synced to Cade York's leg. Ali Gay, what can you say about him? Another uber athletic interception, man. It could have been a fumble. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Officially ruled a pick. Good on Gay for having the physical ability to make that play. And it wasn't just that pass rush. His effort was spectacular throughout the game. Really high motor game from Ali Gay. And I've enjoyed watching him get better against the run as this year has progressed. And he has. And all of that improvement culminated in that strip of Matt Corral on the draw to end the game. Great recognition, great technique, great effort on a night where he had to be fully spent by that point. If Gay returns, he too be a massive prospect. One guy who will have to return and who impressed me mightily for a second game in a row was Jaquelin Roy. Great effort on the second Jay Ward pick from Roy where he falls to the ground. He hits a mat drill, basically, pops right back up way faster than lineman, puts a hit on Corral, and it turns into a pick. And by game's end, he looked like he had been in a battle. He had a huge tackle on the remember, okay, so at the end of the game, Ole Miss up 48-40. LSU scores 48-46. LSU has to come up with a stop. They need that 3 and out. He had a huge tackle to start that series to set up 2nd and 9. Oh, but then a penalty takes away. What's he do? On 2nd and 12, he comes back, fights to a double team, big tackle, no gain, sets up 3rd and 12, which sets up the pass, which sets up Neil Farrell for the big sack on 3rd and 12 to force the punt. And that play by Neil Farrell, again, a max effort, high motor play from every D lineman on the field. But no rotation. They played the entire game. They were exhausted, and yet they out-hustled and outworked that Ole Miss offensive line. I love the response from Jay Ward after giving up the first touchdown early on. Comes back a couple drives later, massive pick 6, gives LSU the 10-7 lead, sets a tone for the remainder of the game. But let's just look at Jay Ward, the playmaker, over these last few games. Arkansas has the TFL on third down to force the potential game-time field goal. Then comes up with the block kicked to win the game. Then has the massive pick against Florida where he somehow remains in bounds. Then has the pick 6 against Ole Miss to change the momentum of the game. Jay Ward, strong. Micah Baskerville lit up Matt Corral on the 4th and 2 pick to Todd Harris on the block. I just thought that was kind of funny. Matt Corral, I don't know why I wrote this. Matt Corral is great with his legs, but it's some of the most painful and awkward slides I've ever seen. Defense started to look exhausted in the third. Not sure I blame them. I don't know how much of D-line rotation there was. I like McLaughlin's body. I like his effort. I like him stepping up as best he can, but he must get better. Now for some special team thoughts to end the day. Sneaky, huge play from Zach Von Rosenberg to avoid the block punt. Not even that sneaky. It's just in the fan cave. We didn't give it the credit that it was due. On LSU's opening 3 and out, have you seen this replay yet, Musa? On LSU's opening 3 and out, go watch this. Go look at ZVR's Twitter. Ole Miss should have blocked the punt, and it should have been a touchdown. And not only does Von Rosenberg literally juke him, like dodge him with like a little fake punt hezzy move, but then he gets off like a 50-yard bomb and puts Ole Miss back on the 20. It's an incredible play, and he was consistent all night long, consistent weapon all season long. Give that man the Ray Guy Award. Nick Storrs had an open field tackle. I have nothing to say beyond that. Awesome job, Nick Storrs, dude. Cade York. What more can you say about the kid? Luke Skywalker. He's so damn consistent. 4 of 4 in the driving rain like it was nothing, and you never sweated any of them. And these are supposed to be college kickers. And then how about Coy Moore returning? Coy Moore's aggressiveness and confidence returning kicks. We were wondering during the fan cave why it wasn't Trey Palmer, and there's still maybe questions there, but I think Coy Moore kind of showed you on that last punt why they have him back there. He validated Greg McMahon's choice, catching that ball over the shoulder. I mean, how many yards does Coy Moore not only save there? I mean, he sets you up at the 50, which is huge, but that ball looked like it had the chance to roll to the 20, the 15, maybe the 10. But Moore, I mean, think, how did he do that? He's running full speed backwards with a ball that's bombed over his shoulder in the wind and the rain, traveling at high speeds, and he catches it over his shoulder and then gets positive yards out of it. Massive. That and the ZVR punt. Huge game-winning plays from special teams. Another one I liked, great tackle by Avery Atkins on the final kickoff, where they had a little juice. They were getting some yards. It seemed like he may have hurt his shoulder. Totally worth it, though. And then I know this is not an LSU thought, it's more of an Ole Miss thought, but Jerry Neely's kick return for a touchdown was a thing of beauty. I mean, beginning to end. A beauty for Jerry Neely. The courage to take it from so deep. The hesitation to cause the kick team to kind of slow up. Remember, LSU's not used to covering kicks either. Nobody returns Avery Atkins kicks. And then the vision that Ely displayed to weave through traffic was outstanding. Had defender spinning. Great job. But in the end, it was the LSU special team that won the day. So the offense, I was very impressed with top to bottom. The youth there is absurd. Figure out the O-line. You're going to be great for years. Defensively, you started to flash some potential. Changes need to be made, but credit the guys that stuck around for making the plays when you had to have them. And then the special teams were what they were all year. Excellent. And it's why you won the game. Those are your T-Bob's game takes. All right. Starting to close up the show when we get back here on OTBOT.
OTB OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet and an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with the win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome back, OTBOT. Shout out my guy Josh Sherry, one of my good friends. Told me to hit him up if I need to learn how to cook jambalaya, and that is true. I mean, Josh is an excellent cook. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But keep sending me your recipes. We got some good recipes as well coming in, and some good tips coming in. Billy W in the chat, do you guys think Pelini stays under a new scheme, or do you get a new DC altogether? At T-Bob, your thoughts too. I don't know if y'all crack your mics as well, but no, I mean, no, Bo Pelini doesn't stay.
Gone.
I don't think now this is interesting though. Are you married to in a replacement? Are you married to scheme, right? Like are you going in? Because I kind of think you almost have to be.
I think Coach O is married to a 4-3.
Yeah. Yes. Or like a 4-2-5, four down lineman, like four down lineman.
He wants a 4-man front.
Yes.
He wants a 4-man front.
And I do think that you have. That was one of the problems of this year is that you finally reached the 3-4 personnel place that you were trying to get to for years in Dave Aranda, and then you made the switch. But you've adjusted rather quickly, and with the rise of guys like Anthony and Gay and Jaquelin Roy at the 3 technique, and then adding a Mason Smith and another year of Guillory developing, like I think you are actually really set up to have a really good 4-man front. So even though you never want to put yourself in a false limit. You never want to limit yourself in these searches. Maybe it's not an absolute must. But yeah, I'm with you, Moose. I think you're hugely valuing a 4-man front. I don't know if you want to go back to a 3-4. I would also value youth over a retread, given what just happened. I mean, well, actually, look, it's the bottom line for LSU is they just have to do their due diligence. No falling in love with one person and just going head over heels and not fully vetting the process before you make a hire. More than anything, more than any individual name or who's out there or whatnot, if LSU wants to sustain long-term success, they have to be willing to adjust how they hire. I mean, when you look at how they hire, it's just led to too many misses. So really trying to nail down and figure out the core philosophy behind the hires is where I think the number one goal is to be. And they got great resources from which to pull. I mean, the Saints were not always hiring well. They changed some things up, and then they ended up being now they're one of the best in the entire NFL. So, I mean, just to me, I don't know. I'm someone who's always going to get excited by kind of young up-and-comers. Maybe that's also just a bit of being a slave to what you went through with Joe Brady, but I would rather fail taking a chance with an up-and-comer than overpaying for a retread, right? I mean, that felt way worse this season. I'd also be concerned about things like I saw a lot of Jeremy Pruitt in the chat this morning. And granted, people did go on to say that he was very good at Florida State and stuff. But anytime it's if you're hiring a former Alabama coach, I'd be wary about hiring the current coordinators, right? It's why I like a guy like Napier versus how Tennessee hired Pruitt. If I'm a coordinator at Alabama, of course I'm going to be good. Literally, the team that I'm bringing to bear is orders of magnitude more talented than whatever team is lining up across from me. Of course you're going to dominate. You got to prove to me, like Lane did going to FAU and like Coach Napier has done over there at UL, you got to prove to me that you can go and win as the head coach at a program. And at a program that maybe always hasn't been winning, like Coach Nape at UL. And so is Napier? So Napier's starting to emerge as the favorite for the Auburn job?
That's the reports that Billy Napier is the leader right now.
I mean, dude, Auburn might have dropped the ball on all of this and might still fall into a really good hire here, potentially. So we'll have to wait and see. And we are expecting coaching news. I don't know exactly when, but I do think there will be coaching news today. So keep it locked here. Moose, you might have a lot to talk about this afternoon.
I might have a good little bit.
We'll have to wait and see. And I guess we should start getting over my vacation. I'll start to get names together about who I think maybe LSU should look at and everything. During the commercial break, Musso pointed out something very interesting. And it has to do with the NFL. It has to do with pass rush, maybe the most important aspect of the NFL. And it looks like there is a new pass rush king, Matthew.
Yeah, I was just perusing Twitter, and friend of the show, Nick Underhill, had a very interesting stat up there. Do we know Trey Hendrickson is now tied for the lead in the NFL in sacks with 12.5? He's tied with Aaron Donald.
Damn. Lost in the shuffle yesterday. He got that sack fumble.
He did. Trey Hendrickson had a great day yesterday. He had a very good day. Made up for a pretty bad day a week ago against the Eagles. But what's important about it to note is Trey Hendrickson has gotten his 12.5 sacks in only 535 snaps, whereas it has taken Aaron Donald 767 snaps. Look, again, I don't make the rules.
That's just efficiency.
Those are the rules.
I mean, that is like literally an arguable fact.
Yeah.
Like Musso was saying, numerically, it is inarguable that there is not a more efficient or successful pass rush right now than what you've seen out of Trey Hendrickson this year.
How about that? Just as we all predicted going into the season.
I mean, look, we thought that we used to joke about the Trey Hendrickson double-digit sack dream. Not only has it hit, it's the Trey Hendrickson lead the NFL in sack dream. How is that possible, dude? Shout out Trey Hendrickson. Hell of a job. When we get back, let's talk about the Cam Jordan punch a little bit because it's one of the few things that we haven't mentioned yet today. Stick around here on OTBOT. We'll close out the show.
OTBOT. Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from the County Pie in Natchez, Mississippi. We give our take on the football weekend. Did LSU close out the season with the win? How did the Saints do against the Chiefs? We'll break it down at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Come on, Bo, let's go. Come on now. Turn it up, Musa. That sounds like your boy's just 2 minutes away from some vacay. Troy LaBeouf going to be with you the rest of this week. Jordy will be back. I'm going to be off the rest of this week, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week. So you know I love you all. It's been a really fun college football season. I'll be back for the playoffs, but I'm going to go and not wake up very early. Now, Musso, though, you will never be allowed to leave. You're going to be here.
That's factual, yes.
On AFR every day this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And OTB.
Yep.
And then I'll be here again next week, too.
Yeah. But big shout out, Moose. Listen to AFR this week. He's much better than Moscona, so there you go. That's all that needs to be said. Paulie, any hope for you, or are you two chained to the chair in which you currently reside?
Nope, I'm chained to the chair.
Wow.
Here for Hester and AFR.
I feel a little bad. I feel like I'm doing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing where I cut off y'all's legs, and this is me taking bag of salt and just like jamming them on your bloody stumps.
You don't feel bad at all. Stop lying.
No, because
and I don't blame you for not feeling bad.
I'm in too good of a mood.
Yeah,
I'm in too good of a mood to feel bad. Okay, so I'm not going to see anybody else until JLF license free hoedown. Exactly.
That was yes.
Hey, for real. It's been a really fun year. Growing on YouTube with everybody and hanging out with everybody every day has been a ton of fun. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. I will see you on the other side of this Christmas. Let's head into this new year without fears or something. I don't know. I love you all. And I'm trying to be poignant and I'm failing. Keep it locked right here on 104.5 ESPN for the rest of the day. I am out. Have a great day. Watch The Mandalorian. It's awesome. And I'll see you later.
OTB, OT.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf because